Okay, I think we are live. If you guys can hear me on this unscheduled late minute live event, just getting posted in the chat. So much security news. I suppose justifiably so, since the weekend with the attack of the global attack of the Wannacry. Of all the things to call ransomware, Wannacry. Yes, all this news makes me wanna cry. Ha ha. How's everybody doing tonight? Don't know how many people will show up. I gotta stop doing these last minute live events so we can get more than a few people show up. Not that I mind. So we have Ryan, Lance Brooks, MC Strap. Greetings to all. The Icon 2020. Hey, how you doing, boy? How you doing? I'm doing good. Thank you for asking. Today was very hot here in Ohio, almost 90 degrees. Not complaining at all. I just got back from Tim Hortons, had a nice iced coffee. I texted two of my friends to join me, and they were not available. So I figured, fine, I'll connect with my friends on YouTube. The Icon 2020, you're from the South. Which part, Icon? I'm going to guess Florida. Is that true? Lance says, I just found this site, True. People search it as way too much personal info about people. Ooh, True People Search. Not good. Atlanta, okay. I am tech support from India. Give credit. I cannot give you my credit card because it is a fake credit card. I'm so sorry, Ryan. Oh my. It never ends, does it? Let me see if I can share my screen here, make it a little more fun. If you guys can see this, let me know. You should be seeing the screen now. So yeah, it's I suppose with the explosion of the web and the internet really since late 90s, 2000, I suppose you can see it. Okay, guys, thank you. Yeah. This is Microsoft's technical support. How may I help you? Well, I need some sauce for my fettuccine Alfredo. How do I mix the Alfredo and the Microsoft to make it more yummy, MC Strap? Excuse me. William Armstrong, how are you? Thanks for stopping by. I wasn't expecting this many people on an unscheduled live event. This is so cool. Thank you. For those of you who are joining late, we're going to talk a little bit about some security news and comparing maybe Windows and Linux. This won't be a long one. I think something like that needs to be a much longer or a longer live event on how to stay secure. But it's been crazy since the weekend, all over the news with the ransomware, and but I suppose it needs to be told. So, all right. So, does anybody here use only Windows or only Linux? Before we go to some news items, or do you dual boot? Of course, you guys know I dual boot because I enjoy dual booting. William says, fine, I ask, you are using Windows. Yep. And you use Linux so much? Okay. Yeah, Linux is cool. Non-dual booter user. Okay, Lance. Well, I have tried using only Linux, and it's you know what? It's just not there yet. For me, this is strictly my opinion, it's not there yet as a full replacement. Gonna spend a week Chromebook. Gonna torture yourself? Okay, Ryan, I have a phone number of a good doctor here locally in case you need some help. How does that sound? Well, Chromebooks are a big seller on Amazon, so, and Chrome OS is a form of Linux based on Gentoo, so why not? I still say I've talked about this before. Google can make a mass-marketed Linux desktop, okay? So whatever, it has to be somewhat based on Android. It sounds great, yeah. That way people walk into, Walmart or Office Max or Best Buy and they see Google Desktop. People know Google. And if it's based off of Linux, and it should be, that might sell. And you would think because it's from Google or from the manufacturer or from the factory that there won't be any compatibility issues with graphics drivers, printers drivers, everything will work. And I think that's the only way to make it the so-called year of the Linux desktop. Just strictly my opinion. Strap says, I spent the day on a Chromebook. It felt like I needed to suicide. Okay, all right. Oscray, hello. How are you? Thanks for stopping by. MC Strap, what happened to the Chromebook? Mainly going to risk my data to advertising. That fun. Okay. Did the Chromebook not work? It's not what you expected. Was there bugs? It broke? What exactly happened, Strap, if I may ask? Out the windows. Okay. I haven't bought a Chromebook. I thought about it, but I have way too many toys. Mark Kennedy, welcome aboard. Good day. Oscray, pretty good. Did you miss much? No. Started this about, less than 10 minutes ago. This is an unscheduled live event. There's so much talk since the weekend about security, Linux versus Windows, and it's really, really a lot going on, Oscar. So I thought I would spend some time tonight, not a lot, I think, to completely talk about security, Windows versus Linux. That's probably a 2, 3 hour, 4 hour live event. Not tonight. But I thought I would talk about it a little bit tonight and maybe schedule a live event to talk a little bit more about this maybe later on. Windows had issues with tech support scammers. You had issues with tech support. I tend to ignore them. William, yeah. So Oscar, no, you have not missed much of anything. I will get started here on some of the news articles here in a minute or two. But yeah, I mean, has anybody ever gotten a phone call on a Linux phone support scammer? Is that even possible? I would imagine most people, well, some people who use Linux probably know a little bit more about computers than, say, Windows users, maybe? Just a thought. So, old Chromebook screen broke after 15 drops from your desk. All of those drops happened within a... Wow. You mean it didn't break after 14 drops? That's a heck of a Chromebook, Ryan. Wow. Huh. That's pretty sturdy, Ryan. It really has been a while since a scheduled... Yeah, MC Strap, it has been a while. I think the last scheduled one was it with Stephanie doing that concert thing that we did? I can't remember. Anyway, I know probably for a lot of viewers it might be easier to do these on the weekend. At least that's what somebody said. So, or if we do these on the weeknight, not too late, for the people overseas. So, but I just happen to live on the East Coast, or sorry, in Eastern time. It just makes it easier for me. But yeah, I should at least do one a week schedule so everybody knows what's going on. So, Dagan's Tech Adventure. I know you. Top of the evening. I've told you last time the ThinkPad, and I have a couple more ThinkPads. Whoa, cool. Both are the T420, one for graduation gift, the other you bought. Excellent. Yeah, I have one, two, I have 3 ThinkPads. One is from, now I bought these used. You live in Eastern time? Cool. So the time is good for you, Ryan. One ThinkPad is from 2004. It had a Windows XP. That one has PC Linux OS. The other 2, one has Ubuntu with Unity still. The other one has Linux Mint. You get scammer calls and waste their time and ask really creepy questions like, what are they wearing? If I can move in with them. Or my favorite. Okay, that's great. Oh, that's a good one. I like your style, that's great. You plan to install Chromium OS on that Chromebook, pretty cheap Samsung Chromebook 3 at Walmart. Okay, Ryan. I'm still impressed. It broke after 15 drops and not 14. Wow. Dagan, you have 3 as well. T420 runs Linux Mint, and the other T4 on Windows 10. Okay, yeah, ThinkPads are awesome. I'm going to probably, on my Toshiba that I installed KDE Neon last week, I'm probably going to delete that. Nothing wrong with it, but the one thing about the Plasma desktop, because of the way it's designed and the widgets, and those widgets can't take up a lot of real estate on the screen, it's not really designed for a small screen laptop. So I'll probably install Ubuntu Mate, full install on that Toshiba, which originally had Windows Vista. And yeah, I think I'll stick with Ubuntu Mate on that one and give you guys a report. You had a tech support scammer insult you only once, William? Interesting. Yeah, I tend to avoid it. Maybe one of these days, if I get a tech support scammer, I may just turn on my New York accent and say, hey, what's your freaking problem, eh? But it's hard for me not to be nice. It's just who I am. Okay, well, let's go into the news. How does that sound? This is from USA Today. Switching from Windows won't erase ransomware. That is true. If you guys have other feelings about these articles, please post them in the chat. I'll try to keep up with your comments. But yeah, it won't erase ransomware. This is posted from May 15th, so why don't we take a look at this? And let's see, malware creators are looking for an operating system that offers the entry point of least resistance. They found it in Windows. Makes sense to me. It looks like these are reader comments. Okay, so let's go with these one by one, and if you guys want to comment on each one, that's fine with me. Let's see here. I love it when everyone thinks if you stop using Windows and go to another platform that is more secure, then criminals will all go away. Really? Will they retire and go to the old criminals' home or something? They will find another way. They always do. I would say that's true. Yeah, they won't go away. Run with the dolphin. Let's see. Welcome. Guy at office hooked up a computer for my company. Acquisition. Put it on the network without checking and ended up with encrypted QuickBook files. Okay. Ryan you were called a mother chode by one and said that he bleeped sister. Oh boy. That's nice. Yes, William, I am Italian. Anyway. So with this one here, yes, criminals will not go to the old folks, to the retirement home. Let's see here. Hackers used to have to work hard to create tools that would exploit vulnerabilities. Now they have to just be patient and get them from the National Security Agency, which does all the work for them. Interesting. Yeah, that ransomware, I believe, was originally developed by the NSA some time ago. And they found an exploit, and Microsoft was not told about it. And I guess Microsoft got really ticked off, but hey, such is the world of politics. There's something to be said about the good old days when there were no computers. Amen. Guys, what do you think of this comment? Amen. A simpler time, right? Ransomware launches its attack by taking advantage of weakness in Microsoft products. Okay? These products, such as MS Office, are also used on Mac and Linux's operating systems. Yeah, Linux is not immune to malware. It's certainly possible to get ransomware, malware, viruses. It's just because of the target audience is to to attract or to get as many so-called victims as possible, they target Windows. They don't target as much Linux or Mac. Now, that can change next year. So when I say avoid malware, use Linux, I mean like now, not necessarily next year. Strictly my opinion as a Windows user. Yeah, William, ransomware is not fun at all. Missed the infancy of the internet from the 90s. Wannacry, it was a simpler time back then. I do remember it. Yeah, absolutely. That was a time I was watching Star Trek Voyager, Star Trek Deep Space Nine, and shows like that, and it was a simpler time. Hello, Bad Wolf. Welcome to the event. How are you? We're talking, just to hang out here, we're talking about some security news, stuff off the newswire, and comparing Windows versus Linux, staying secure, and is it possible to be 100% secure? No, of course not. But I do believe today, percentage-wise, all things considered, it is a little bit safer to be in Linux than in Windows. But that's all relative because this can change. Really, something like this with malware, you need to be abreast of this day to day. It really can change day to day. That's how fast things are changing with technology. Okay, let's see here. But with ransomware, no one is immune. Okay. Ransomware has hit Linux boxes. Yes, that is true, Bad Wolf. Let's see, next one here. We have modern day pirates using ransomware that harm all nations. They should be hunted and put out of business. Any country that harbors them should be dealt with. Pirate, yeah. I guess a lot of this spread from China that use pirated operating systems, pirated software. Well, duh! I sometimes get a lot of comments that I'm sticking with Linux because Windows is full of bugs. This didn't work. That doesn't work. It kept crashing on me. I kept getting viruses. And I usually I'll catch them, or I'll catch a comment with this response saying, well, if you bought this computer brand new out of the box and it had all these bugs, take it back. And of course the comment is like, oh no, I downloaded the system or I copied it off for somebody else. Well, duh, what do you expect? What do you expect's gonna happen? Anyway. Okay, most organizations back up their files daily to off-site locations. Okay. It's possible they may have lost one day's files, but running their system back to zero, starting over, should alleviate the problem. Backup, backup, backup. I don't care what you use. If you run, and now you have to run clean backups. Clean backups. If you're backing up malware files, well, do I need to explain more? Let's see here. My thoughts on Android. Well, Android is not free from this also. When it comes to Android, as far as the mobile market, Ryan, it's either going to be Apple, iOS, or Android. I've chosen to stick with Android because it is more flexible. It's open source. You can do more with it. Now the downfall is, and Google has gotten better with this, but the downfall is it's more prone to the nasties, malware. Although it's not as bad as it used to be, probably. And I've mentioned this before. Google should come out with a mass-marketed Android desktop, Android based off of Linux, and I think that would sell. Just my opinion. So my thoughts on Android: it works, but it's probably not as secure as the iPhone, iOS. So those are my thoughts on Android. Oh, what else? Public Wi-Fi is not always safe for sensitive activities. Yeah, I would have to agree. A VPN minimizes the risk of using insecure Wi-Fi networks. Okay, I would agree with that. Ransomware involves criminals encrypting and holding users' data hostage until paid. 48, yeah, percent, 43. So, anyway, does it include a ban on Trump's own Twitter account? I think Trump is doing a good job messing up his own account, right? Ryan, you would also get an Android desktop. Yeah, Why not? Think about it. You buy an Android desktop. I'm assuming it's not buggy. You plug in your phone, bam, it's all there, just like iTunes. Awesome. You haven't been hit yet. Knock on wood. I have my partitions backed up onto external using Acronis. I've heard of Acronis, and I'm worried about. Are you worried about ransomware? You betcha. Yeah. Daily backups, clean backups. Again, they have to be clean backups, and probably a lot of homes don't think about, when they're sharing USB drives, external drives. Do they think about cleaning those drives or checking those drives first? I'm willing to bet, I can't prove this, but I'll bet you 50% of households probably don't even think about it until I said something today. Just a thought. Let's see. Country is ill prepared at this time to prevent hackers. Cybersecurity is awful. Don't know about that. Since Trump doesn't know how to spell cybersecurity. Oh man. Poor Trump cannot catch a break. Let's see. Cybersecurity system vulnerable right now. These orders are just like coloring pages to keep Trump. What is this? The Trump page? Your backups are as clean as possible. Okay, Bad Wolf. Very good. Okay, we'll move on to the next news article. Any questions or comments about this first page? The Trump jokes are pretty funny. Alrighty then, let's go on to the next one. Victims have stopped paying their ransom. Good for them. One way to help not spread this is just don't pay up. Yep, Trump is getting heat. Guess Trump cannot keep his mouth shut, can he? Anyway, so this is good. Don't pay him, and if there's no market for the ransom, then maybe they'll consider twice about doing it, but then they might switch to attacking us Linux users. Oh no. Please, Windows users, please pay up so hackers will leave us Linux folks alone. Just kidding, just kidding, just kidding. Dagan, you have other Lenovo's that were given to me years ago to fix up. Think Center, sure. Desktop version, that is true. Yeah, very good. I guess I could have Trump wash my backup squeaky clean. Sure you can. Do you think some of this scaremongering to erode privacy laws? Oh man, I don't know about that one. This ransomware and these global hits, this is all on a whole different scale, Oscar. So I don't know about this one. So stay tuned. Really, it's up to the user to stay informed and learn how to stay protected. Knowledge is power. I try to gain as much knowledge as I can. I've never been hit. Some of it is what I do to stay safe. So yeah. So okay. So it looks like the payments have gone down. It looks like 292,000 affected systems. Only 300 are currently turned on. Oh, that's good. All of your mobile devices have Ubuntu, Bad Wolf. Very good. Okay, cool. Okay, let's go on to the next article. Malware. Does Wannacry infect Linux? No, I don't think this does. Although I believe there was a form of ransomware with Linux last year. I think it was last year. Jeffrey, hello. Nobody gets their files back. I can't prove it either way, but probably a certain percentage don't get anything back. The only thing they get back is a headache. Yeah, Ryan, the Ubuntu Film project is officially done. This idea with convergence, Canonical tried to do something with it, but the last 5 years, I guess it wasn't meant to be. So they're going to focus on the Ubuntu desktop with GNOME. That should be interesting. A lot of people, from what I've seen, not everybody, they just don't care for loan. That's true, Bad Wolf. By default, Wannacry cannot hit if you're running strictly Linux, but it boxes with Wine. Yeah, that's why I don't use Wine. If I have to use Windows, play a game or video editing, I'll just boot into Windows 10, a fully updated Windows 10 as secure as possible, and I'm good to go. But yeah, if you're using Wine, I have heard of that. But by default, the way this thing has been designed, there's some, I guess, some code here. This is an exploit. It's configured, and it even says here, it does affect Linux machines with Wine configured. Now, I've been saying for years, forget Wine unless it's red. You agree? Okay, cool. So, yeah. Ben, hi. Ben Fitzpatrick from the we used to do some podcasts together. Yeah. Yeah, of course, Ben from Spatries. Of course I remember. How are you? What do you think about Wanna Smile? I don't know, man. Is that something new or is that a joke, Bad Wolf? Firefox OS was not. You wish it wasn't discontinued. Yeah, I haven't heard too much about that. So concluding, it says here, Wannacry, putting aside Wine, only affects Windows systems. I don't think it affects Windows 10 by default or if Windows 10 is fully patched. I think you're okay, as far as I know. So that's the answer to malware. Ransomware does affect Linux, but not necessarily Wannacry. Makes me wanna cry. It's a temp patch for Wannacry. Oh, okay. If it's only temporary, Bad Wolf, does it work? Does it expire? I don't get it. Ben, you're doing fine. Haven't found a decent antivirus for Windows. You're using 8.1. Check out, Ben, check out Avira. Lightweight Avira. And somebody recommended Bitdefender Free, Bitdefender Lite, Ben. So try that. With Windows 10, I have not installed a secondary antivirus. I might test Bitdefender. If I'm going to install something, I want it to be lightweight but functionable. So Ben, try Bitdefender Free or Avira. Cool. What happened to Spatry? I don't know. Ben, do you know what's up with Spatry? I haven't heard from him. I tried to contact him late last year, but I have not heard from him. That's why we haven't done, well, I haven't done the news and nonsense with him. I've been doing it with my friend Stephanie. She's an aspiring singer, so try to give her some exposure. Is Clamwin good? I haven't used it, Ryan, so I don't know. Softpedia, yeah. Let's see, on Linux is what, ClamTK or something like that? Yeah. I've heard of Kaspersky, Lance. I don't know how lightweight it is, but I believe, yeah, I've heard good things about it. Fat Elvis is in the house. What happened to Frank's help desk? Who is Frank? ClamTK, yeah, bad. I believe that's the GUI version. I believe there's a terminal version, a CLI version of Clam. Not mistaken, but TK I believe is the GUI version. Okay, so let's see here. Going back to some news. New strain of Linux malware could get serious. This is from April 2017. Ooh, a new strain of malware targeting Linux systems dubbed Linux Shishiga. Sounds like a Chinese takeout. Could morph into a dangerous security threat. Uses 4 different protocols: SSH, Telnet, HTTP, and BitTorrent, and Lua scripts for modularity. Let's see. For Flame, Evil Bunny. Lua is a programming language characterized by its lightweight embedded nature. Okay. While this new strain doesn't break any ground in terms of exploits, it refines some existing techniques it borrowed from other strains. Okay, so Linux Shishiga targets GNU Linux systems using a common infection vector based on brute force weak credentials and a built-in password list. Man, that's a mouthful. The malware uses the list to try a variety of different passwords, okay, in an effort to gain access. Okay. By comparison, Linux Moose sounds like a new Linux distro. I use Moose. Is a malware family that primarily targets Linux-based computer routers. I've heard of routers being hacked, cable and DSL modems, and other embedded computers. Once infected, the compromised devices are used to steal unencrypted network traffic. Shishiga's Anatomy, Binary Pack with UPX, Ultimate Packer. Let's see here. None of these modifications are especially noteworthy, though. I read this, I'm starting to get the impression this isn't as bad yet as it can be, as ransomware is for Linux. ESET, reset. You know what? ESET's another good antivirus. I think that's a paid one, Ben, but I think I tested ESET once before. It was very fast and very lightweight. Staying safe. Let's see. Most Linux machines either running in data centers or embedded in IoT devices. Shishiga looks like it's targeted toward data centers. So maybe us desktop users are safe. So once again, I get the impression desktop users are relatively safe. Trojans disguise themselves as firmware patches now for Netgear routers. Okay, I've always been a big fan, Ben, of Linksys routers, for better or for worse. So yeah, I've tested Netgear. What's the other one? I can't remember, but I seem to have the best luck Okay, are we back? Sorry about that. Do-do-do-do-do-do. Sorry about that. Let's see if that helps a little bit. Let's go back. I think we should be good. Are we good? Okay. Okay. Yes, Ryan, my computer got hit with want a party? Maybe tonight I should reset my router. Maybe that's they supposedly with these Comcast routers, you're supposed to like turn them off and reset them every so often. I don't know. Maybe I'll just do that tonight. Makes you want to cry. Yes, Fat Elb makes me want to cry. I think we're good now, right? Yeah, okay. I adjusted the bandwidth in the settings there. So anyway, we are back. So let's see. Wannacry has a more lucrative cousin that mines cryptocurrency for its masters. Man, this just keeps getting better and better. The same exploits that allowed the Wannacry ransomware so quickly has been used to set up an illicit cryptocurrency mining scheme. And it's, all these stories will be great for like an X-Files episode or another James Bond movie. Let's see. It makes me want to cry, and I'm all shook up. Boo, boo, boo. I'm all shook up. Doo, doo, doo. It looks like we're good. Okay. Again, you had some bad storms last night, and the people thought their power supplies died in the area, but at work the machine still works. Okay. The NSA Eternal Blue Fat Elvis. I believe that's what this the global hit. I believe that's what it was called. That's what it's called. I think, right, guys? I think so. Yeah, I think so. Wannacry was halted by swift work on behalf of dedicated security researchers. Okay. Let me adjust something here. My mic may have reset. Maybe not. I think you guys can hear me, huh? Do 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 do. Give me 1 second here. I don't want the audio to spike, so okay, let's do this then. Yeah, the audio settings reset, and I think the volume spikes, so I think the volume should be better this way. Okay. Let's see. Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, Eternal Blue. I believe that's what it was called, Fat Elvis. Yeah. Oh, let's see. Security firm Proofpoint has found another piece of malware called Adelkuz. Man, makes use of the same exploits. It just never ends. This was so bad that Microsoft released patches for Windows XP. Yeah. Yep. Never ends. So the attack hit 150 countries. So we talked about, let me see something here. Yeah, Bad Wolf. MS released patches to XP. That's how seriously they took it. Absolutely. I've never heard of that before either, Bad Wolf, but it's bad. Yeah, it's very bad. checking something here. There are a ton of point of sale machines that are running XP. Lance, I think you are correct, and they shouldn't be. It's that simple. Let's check this out. Will Linux protect you from ransomware attacks? Why not take a look at that? Stream is still good, right? Okay. All right. Let's see what this says. If I cut out again, just go ahead and let me know and I'll restart it, okay? I should try to do this in OBS, but it's been kind of lazy. The local sheriff office is using XP. Oh no. That's right, William. ATMs. I refuse to use ATMs. Period. XP embedded, yeah. Let's take a look if this is from today. Will Linux protect you from ransomware attacks? Let's see. Ransomware attacks with rage. Are Linux users secure against such attacks? Let's see what we got here. These attacks only work because people didn't update their Windows or use an out of support version. Yes. Linux and Windows are both secure enough if you exercise caution and keep your system updated. Okay. It's easier to keep Linux updated. Probably true. Let's see. This particular attack won't affect Linux, but attacks targeted Linux systems do happen occasionally. Yeah. Short answer, no. Long answer, no, but not many people find it profitable or lucrative. This is my number one thing. Not many people find it profitable or lucrative to make Linux-based ransomware. In my opinion, hackers use Linux, so why would they want to hack themselves? Yeah. Don't have much of a choice. Physical banks are being closed left and right. Oh, okay, William. Not good. Yeah, Toss, you saw it earlier today when I went to renew my concealed carry. Oh, okay, Bad Wolf. Man, yeah, they should not be using Windows XP, but what are you going to do? Windows has a 20-year history of leaving its users vulnerable. Fair enough, but Windows 10, I believe, is secure for the most part. So here we go here. Seeing which Windows version patches were released for the last couple of days, you see how extremely old XP era vulnerabilities carry over. Okay. Security always can be and needs to be improved. Yep. Here we go. If you have backups, you have nothing to fear. Linux is better than Windows. Okay. Well, many Windows vulnerabilities require a vector that allows code execution. Yep. However, many vectors used on Windows are not working well on Linux. People don't usually download random executables from the web and run them. People don't blindly execute attachments they receive from email. Still, the situation is not ideal and requires constant vigilance. Absolutely. Linux, just like Windows, is as secure as you make it. Fair enough. I've seen plenty of Linux boxes get rooted over the years, so it's not a magic bullet. Okay, well there you go, guys. It is possible to get attacks, ransomware in Linux, but as of today, I would say you are generally safer in Linux. Yeah, Bad Wolf, the one that works for you. That is the best operating system, absolutely. Yeah. You know, so as far as Windows goes, the forced updates in this situation I think is good. For people who don't know much about computers, you know, it's at least forced security updates would prevent future ransomware attacks, you would hope, but you need to manually run virus scanners. Linux Smith Mate, so do I. I like Malwarebytes, it's pretty good. That's what I use to scan the computer and scan files. Of course, Windows Defender is installed by default. I like, I've used in the past Avast, I've used Avira, I used AVG, I've used ESET, I've used probably a few more here and there. Today I actually downloaded Sophos for Linux. That is not a user-friendly antivirus for Linux. You have to use terminal commands, and I don't like it. But I'll keep it installed inside Linux Mint Mate for a while. I may do a video on that, but it's a shame it's not. Sophos for Linux is not user-friendly. It's highly regarded. Arch Labs. Okay, Bad Wolf, you can have your Arch Labs. Why do you like Arch Labs? It just works. Okay. Yeah, the best OS is the one that works. Absolutely. Windows 10 is a slow to boot for me, a 7. Yeah, I don't have any issues with Windows 10, William. I did a recovery mode, a non-destructive recovery option in Windows 10, and it solved my issues. So you may want to try that. 350 megabytes for Arch Labs? Wow. Dang. Let's see what's new on DistroWatch. OB Revenge. A lot of revenge going on in the Linux world. I guess it's a revenge against ransomware, right? Haha. Arch-based Linux. I guess OB Revenge is for beginners, somewhat. Is this true? I haven't tried it yet. It's a good name. Untangle. OBR still broken. Oh no. Black Lab Linux commercial distribution. Not too many commercial distributions for Linux, are there? Support for Skype and Flatpak packages. Okay. Linux Mint 13 retired. Okay. Daylight Linux. Oh, I gotta take a look at this. Let's take a look at Daylight Linux. Why not? I want to make sure we're good. Ah, this must be French. Daylight Linux. Why not? It has a good name. /Linux. I've heard of it. I think Linux Quest did something on it. I think, yeah. It's for Pi. Okay. Phoenix OS, I guess, is based off Android. Okay. Classic starting. Anybody messed with Phoenix OS? OS Phoenix supports classified file management. Ooh. Have I looked at this before? I don't think so. Looks interesting. Phoenix OS. Let's take a look at this. Looks like for computers and tablets. Okay. But yeah, I think if Google wanted to really mass produce or mass market a Linux desktop, I think Android's the way to go. Fat Elvis says preferred file manager. Man, that is a good question. I kind of like Dolphin. In fact, let's take a look at Kubuntu. Fat Elvis, you got me thinking now. I really like the latest Kubuntu 17.04. I believe this is what I'm going to install in my other test laptop and to delete KDE Neon. Nothing wrong with KDE Neon. But I mean, actually, no, in my Toshiba desktop, I'm going to install Ubuntu Mate, sorry. And this is what I have installed in my backup desktop machine. And of course, Kubuntu uses the Dolphin file manager. It's one of the easiest ones to use. So I think Dolphin is one of my favorites. The one in Linux Mint, is it Kaja? That one's fairly easy to use. I don't know if I have a favorite file manager. You know, as long as file managers work, I guess I'm all cool with that. You're running KDE on one of the machines? Okay. How do you like KDE? PC Man FM. Is that in Ubuntu? I can't remember. Dunar. Okay. But yeah, I really like the latest Kubuntu 17.04. Much improved, not resource hungry. Nima. Okay. Yeah. Really impressed with the latest Kubuntu. Very lightweight and was not expecting this. So check out Kubuntu. Yeah, XFCE is lightweight, sure, yeah. Yeah, the Dolphin file manager, I know some people consider this the best file manager, and it's definitely nice. I would have to agree as a Windows dual booter. Yeah, Nemo is, I would say, slimmed down version of Nautilus. Yeah. 18.04, what will that look like? I don't know, Fat Elvis. I know that the Ubuntu desktop team has a poll out on OMG Ubuntu. They need your help, your feedback in developing the next Ubuntu, which of course will not be Unity. They want to know what extensions, surprise, surprise, what extensions to have installed by default. In my opinion, if you guys remember that live event I did, Ubuntu GNOME versus Windows, I believe I had to install 10 extensions, maybe more, to get it user-friendly out of the box. But that's my opinion. Oh, there were 10 extensions. Applications menu, dash to dock. I don't remember them all. You know what? Let me... yeah, too many. Let me go to the website. Hopefully the stream won't crash here. But they have listed some extensions on the poll. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. I think I'll wrap this up at about 10 o'clock, unless you guys want to stick around longer. But here we go. The Ubuntu desktop team wants your feedback. Let's take a look. Now, I already took the survey. Okay, so this is the extensions they want you guys to vote on. Let's take a look here. Fidel, Arnold, how are you? Welcome to the stream. We've been talking about, well, we started off talking about security news for Linux, Windows, and once this is over, I don't edit these live streams usually. Once I'm done, you can just go back and replay it, Fidel, if you want to. So anyway, welcome, Fidel. So let's see here. So cool, Fidel. Yeah. By the way, I've spoken to Stephanie. We hope to do another live event with her sometime soon. She's working on new music and doing some other stuff. So anyway, I was actually texting her last night. Okay, so they want your help, the Ubuntu desktop team. They want your help, feedback on dash to dock. I say yes. Impatience, I think that's to make it boot faster or something, or to make the applications run faster. No top left-hand corner. I have a neutral feeling of that. Alternate tab, sure, why not? Applications menu, absolutely. Better volume indicator, I don't think we talked about this last time. Topicons Plus for legacy icons, absolutely. So yeah, if you guys want to take this, even if you don't really use Ubuntu GNOME, you may want to take this to give them some feedback. But this is probably half of the default extensions that need to be implemented in the next Ubuntu. Yes, Fidel, I am currently running Linux. Well, I mean, tonight I'm running Windows, but I'm running Linux Mint. When I dual boot Linux Mint, the latest Linux Mint 18, yes. And I'm really starting to enjoy the latest KDE Kubuntu 17.04. Very, you know what? It's just as fast as Mate. I'm very impressed with the latest Kubuntu. And it looks good too. So, there's a new dock for KDE called Latte. Lat, is there? Okay. So this is off the OMG Ubuntu website, and it looks like the Ubuntu team is taking the extension seriously because they have to. And you know, I would have preferred a different desktop environment for the next Ubuntu. I definitely prefer Unity over GNOME, but that's my opinion. Big Daddy was showing off Lat. Okay, I think that's where I saw it, Ski Meister. Okay, all right. I think he stopped using GNOME. Too many issues. He's going back to. I'm not sure what he's going back to actually. Why am I a dual booter, Ryan? Because I have yet to find a complete Linux-based operating system that can completely replace Windows 10. It's gotten better, Ryan. It's gotten much better. It's so close, but usually it's either graphics drivers, printer drivers, quality of software. That's what's holding me back. Of course, gaming. You guys know when I run Windows 10, I love playing my Asphalt 8 game, Airborne. I need to get something to drink. So that's why I dual boot. I don't necessarily prefer 100% one operating system over the next. But if I did not have to dual boot, Ryan, yeah, so there's your answer. But use what works. All right, so Big Daddy Linux is on KDE. Okay. Mint has hated every system I threw at it since version 8. Bad Wolf, why? Guys, I have to go get something to drink. I have a fridge, a little fridge here in the garage. I'll be right back. Don't go away, okay? I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I got my, what do I have here? Orange Powerade. Anybody drink Powerade? Fat Elvis hit it 90 today. Oh, are you in California? I can't remember. No beer tonight, Ski Master. Sometimes I'll drink some red wine at night. But yeah, no beer. Yep. Fidel, I also miss the old Zorin. Yeah. In fact, up until they switched to Zorin, it was my #1 choice for Linux newbies. If they were going to try Linux for the first time, I can no longer recommend Zorin, at least not for beginners. I mean, it looks nice, it works, but I can't do it. Yeah. Okay, looks like we're still good. Massacre, hello. You attempted to convert Ubuntu to Ubuntu GNOME and was somewhat successful. Not sure how upgrades to the next version would affect it. I don't know either. Massacre, I'm assuming if you're running Unity and you upgrade, will it convert to GNOME? That's my guess. Yeah, that's my guess. I don't know. I deleted Unity in my backup desktop computer, and that has Kubuntu right now, so that's a good question. 90 degrees. Yeah, it was warm today here also. I have not tried Chrome OS. Nothing wrong with it. Thought about it, but just something. If there was a mass marketed Linux desktop, Ryan, that had Android and Chrome, I would probably try that. But just to buy a Chromebook, nah, it's just something I just don't need. It's not something I would use for videos and stuff. I mean, I already have 1, 2, 3 laptops, test laptops, and that's enough. So the system might not break because the default desktop environment in 1710 is supposed to match what was in Ubuntu. No, except for extent. That sounds reasonable, Massacre. Look, for everybody running the Ubuntu, I would keep track of the updates, the news from the team. They're probably going to try to make this transition as painless as possible. All I can tell you is when I ran Unity, there were no extensions to install. I got used to it. I think I installed one little tweak called the Classic Menu Indicator. It had a drop-down menu like Windows XP. That was the only extension, if you want to call it. The rest was fine. Chromebook cannot get viruses. Well, nothing is 100%, but since Chromebook is based on Chrome OS off of Gentoo Linux, it's less susceptible to viruses. Fidel? Yeah. Well, Chromebook is very lightweight compared to Mac, right? That's my guess, but Chromebooks are a hot seller on Amazon. They're fast, they're lightweight, they're inexpensive, and for people who just want to get on the web and do basic work, for starting at $150, that's a pretty good price. Macs can get viruses. Yes, they can. When I did that that one live event with Stephanie, she uses only Mac computers. And I believe, Ryan, she's been using Sophos, as far as I know. In fact, let's go to Sophos. Speaking of antivirus, fake flash updates. So that's no good. Not good at all. It looks like they have something here. Stay protected from the Wannacry decryptor ransomware attack. I've heard good things about this. Like I said, it's too bad the version for Linux, which is free, is not user-friendly at all. Looks nice. Stop the phishing. Just taking a quick look here. Let's see what they say about ransomware. Stop Wanna with Intercept X. Okay. How Sophos protects against Wannacry ransomware. Intercept X, the most advanced ransomware protection. Interesting. The proven CryptoGuard capabilities in Sophos Intercept X block ransomware. I wonder how effective that is. Fat Elvis, you uninstalled Sophos a day before Wannacry came out. Oh, good timing. If you have a fully updated Windows 10, you should be okay. I mean, I don't have any fancy extra, antivirus installed. I just have an up-to-date Windows 10. But from what I see here, Sophos is highly respected from what I've read in the past. This free anti-ransomware kit is packed with useful information for IT managers as well as tools to educate users. Checklist, stop ransomware, get complete protection. Yeah, definitely take a look at the Sophos. Hey, the luck of the Irish, aye lad. Why did you delete this? Sophos, it should have been good. Never heard of Wannacry infecting Ubuntu. Well, not today. But yes, if you are using wine, the wine will not taste very good running ransomware, right? But check this out. If you haven't, Sophos, I would definitely recommend this for a Windows user. It's just too bad the Linux version, man, I had installed that through the CLI and it wasn't fun. It wasn't fun at all. Now that should be confined to the wine bottle. Yeah. Microsoft Security Bulletin. You know, for all the lambasting we've given Windows 10 with the forced updates, like I said, as far as security updates, I have no problem with that. It just makes it easier. Aged wine is pretty good from what I've heard. Yeah, I think it is there, William. Absolutely. Yes, Bad Wolf, I definitely still recommend Linux Mint to new users. My top 3 list for new users, I would say on top, if you're absolutely new, like you're a Linux newbie, Ubuntu Mate or Ubuntu Mate, number 1. Number 2, any version of Linux Mint except Debian. That's a little bit, yeah. The third choice right now, I like Ubuntu. Or KDE Neon. Well, KDE Neon may be a little bit too light, but that's my top 3 list. I wonder why Linux Mint is always number 1 on Distro Watch. Well, it's well liked. It probably gets the most hits. I'm not sure about the most downloads. I'm not sure how that works. You know, Distro Watch is just a guide. But I've been recommending Linux Mint for many years. It just works. It just flat out works. Linux Lite is good too. Yes, Mint is very familiar. Somebody said it's like a house that's been pre-built versus something like Arch where you have the foundation of the house, but you got to add to it. You got to add the room, the plumbing. I think that's a pretty good analogy. So I would say that Linux Mint deserves to be at least a top 10. Yeah. Drivers ready to go. Yeah, absolutely. Let's go to the Microsoft Malware Protection Center. A widespread ransomware attack, Wannacry. Okay, very good. Looks like some description about ransomware, frequently asked questions. Let's see here. Anything catches my eye? Details for home users. There are 2 types of ransomware. No, Fidel, for now I'm done with Manjaro. I tried, I really did try, but the bugs got to me. So yeah, you know, it was great in the beginning, but I don't use it anymore. What happened to Ubuntu being recommended to Linux newbies for years? Yeah, I would have liked if Ubuntu still had Unity. That would have been Ubuntu Unity would have been in my top 5 at least. Massacre, but GNOME for beginners? No way. Okay, Ryan, thanks for stopping by. I'll catch you on the next one. Thank you. Yeah. No. Ubuntu GNOME, Ubuntu Unity. For absolute newbies, Ubuntu Unity, I would say no. But after they got, experience with Linux, I would say Unity would have been fine, but GNOME it's just a little bit too much tweaking. But that's my opinion. My first Linux date, if you want to call it that, 2006 was Ubuntu, but that was GNOME too. And it did not take that long to learn it. But GNOME, it's just too much tweaking going, at least with the current GNOME. With 18.04, things might change. Let's see where we're here. Two types of ransomware: lock screen and encryption ransomware. Lock screen shows a full screen message that prevents you from accessing. Okay. So you can get ransomware visiting unsuspicious websites, opening emails, clicking on malicious or bad links. Yep. It can be very difficult to restore your PC. True. Don't click on a link on a web page. So this is actually a very good website for Windows. I don't want to say Windows dummies, but Windows information. I'll put it to you that way. Okay, good website, or good information rather. Yep, mailing a disc. Sure. I think there used to be magazines way back then with the free disc inside, right? Threat reference encyclopedia. Interesting. Would it be bad if you accidentally launched ransomware on a Wine instance that still had full access to your files on your computer? That would be a very bad day. Massacre, absolutely. So, a very good resource website for Windows users. Maybe I have to talk about this more in a further live event. Good info here. Yep. The Microsoft Virus Initiative. I have not heard of that. Interesting. Okay, anyway, I think we'll wrap this up here in a few minutes. So check out Sophos. How to protect yourself. No, it's not running antivirus in Wine. It's actually limiting the software you run in Wine to the Windows apps. You won't need running, but don't want to escape Linux. Windows 98, I remember, Dagan. Yeah. Do you think what Windows 8 compares? What do I think? My first look at Windows 8, Fidel, I remember it. It looked really, really slick, if I recall. I gave it a thumbs up, but the only thing missing was the start button or the start menu. All they had to do was put that in, and Windows 8 would have been awesome. Windows chose not to listen to me and a bunch of other users. They somewhat fixed it in Windows 8.1, but really Windows 8 was a PR disaster. It was just stupid. I don't know what Microsoft was thinking, Fidel. And I remember one of the YouTube channels watching a video, and someone's father was testing Windows 8, and the father was lost. And the father asked the son, "What's this called?" "Windows 8. And the father says, "Are they trying to push me to Mac?" Perfect answer. So Windows 8, it was a PR disaster. They fixed it with Windows 10. Yeah. All I remember was it started as Ubuntu service and another site took it over. Okay, Windows 8.1. Yeah, Windows 8.1 was a little better. Yeah, Bad Wolf, you have to sign up. I did. It's no big deal. I wanted to download the Linux version and test it, Bad Wolf. It's not, I didn't like it either to sign up, but I did it, so it's no big deal. All right, Dagan, take care. I'll catch you next one. Reese Odom, hello. They thought that the tiles were better. Well, not really, Reese. This start menu combination of the classic menu and the tiles, that's what I wanted to see in Windows 8. I mean, jeez. Why didn't they listen to me? Idiots. You've got a Dell XP10 tablet and I don't know what to do with it. Is it not working? Is it corrupted software? Is it running slow? What happened? Classic shell. Yes, I remember that. You like Windows 8 better than Windows 8.1? Wow. Why? I think a lot of people installed that classic shell or classic menu in the Windows 8 to make it functionable, Bad Wolf. Yeah. And I think Windows 8.1 was a little faster too, right? Oh, for gaming. Okay. All right. RT tablet. Okay. Let's take a look at one last thing on security and I'll wrap it up. The new Windows 10 update has a game mode, Bad Wolf. Try turning that on, see if it helps. Tinfoil hat time. That's switched to Linux. I will not wear a tinfoil hat, thank you. Okay, Fidel, thanks for stopping by. I'll catch you next time. Take care. You can't load Alien Isolation in Windows 10. That's strange, Bad Wolf. Did you check the forums? But it works in Linux? Wow. Yeah, something's going on, Bad Wolf. Yeah. I think I tried the game switch on or off. In my particular system, I didn't really notice anything, Bad Wolf. So yeah. Normally for me, Windows 10 gaming is awesome. All right, a few more minutes. We'll wrap this up. Alien Isolation may just be an old game. Only works on old Windows systems like XP. Did Alien Isolation come out 2 years ago though? I don't know. What I would do, Bad Wolf, is back up your files and folders. Do a system recovery, non-destructive, meaning choose the option that saves your files and folders. Now, I will erase all the software that you downloaded back to the way it was fresh. It usually saves your files and folders, Bad Wolf. Then try running the game after that. I'll bet you it might run better. Gen 2. Hello, Kirby. So you've done a recovery. Fresh install, still have a problem. Okay, that's unusual. Looks like we got some requirements here. Excuse me. I'm assuming your computer can run Alien Isolation, so I'm not sure. I would check out the forums. Yeah. Great game, by the way. Surprised they haven't made a sequel. Anyway. Gen 2 is safe because you don't spend any time online, only compiling the kernel. Okay. Never use Gen 2. Try to stick with the more beginner-friendly distros. Alright guys, another minute. Anything else on your mind for tonight? Compiling, yeah. Yeah, not fun for me. AMD 16 gigs of RAM, okay. Bad Wolf, something is going on with your system if you cannot run Alien Isolation, which needs, what, at least a gig of RAM? Something's up. Yep, something's up. I usually play my Xbox One, but you have obsolete entries in the BIOS. Okay. Do you think I should try to restrict the Wine instance from accessing outside its own directories, not giving it a massacre? I would say, considering what's going on, if I was going to use Wine, I would restrict it to be safe. Yeah. Give yourself less chance to get a headache, if that makes any sense. Yeah. I would have to agree. You flashed a BIOS twice and they still remain. Really? Huh. You can't remove them. Wow. I don't recall ever having an issue, Bad Wolf, with that. In the BIOS, you have to be careful once you start, messing around with it or doing updates. Honestly, Bad Wolf, I don't know. I've never come across that. Maybe try checking the Windows forums, see if anyone else has come across that. But be careful messing around with the BIOS. But yeah, I've never come across that. Isolation, it runs perfect on Phenom 86 GeForce Windows 10. Get setting dialed to Ultra. Okay. Winamp is cool on Wine. Okay. You've Googled the heck out of it. No luck? Yeah, I'm trying to think. I don't recall ever having an issue like that. Is it affecting the performance on your system, Bad Wolf? You think? Yeah, I've messed with BIOS a little bit in the past, but I don't recall seeing that. Wine could simulate Windows maybe too well. It also manages to simulate some of its vulnerabilities. Yeah, I would think so. You've tried everything. Wow. I would check whoever makes the computer, Bad Wolf, check the support on that on the vendor's website. That's another thing I would check. BCD edit, okay. ECBCD, that's the one that I use. Okay. Trying to think what else. Check out software called ESUS. Although that may be just for partitioning. Bad Wolf. Check out ESUS software. Graphics drivers are installed. Make sure. Would that affect it? I'm not sure. Oh, because of the game, right? Yeah, yeah. It's partitioning. Okay, okay. Yeah, if you don't have the latest graphics drivers, that's true. That will affect any game, right? Yeah. They're installed. Okay. Bad Wolf, you have stumped tonight's team. I don't know. Normally in the past, updating drivers has helped the issue for me. Updating the system, if not, doing a system recovery, a fresh install. You're missing something, or we're missing something to advise you, and I don't know what it is. Reset the CMOS. I'm not sure if that would affect it. I don't know. What you have tried is something makes sense as far as a list of possible solutions. I suppose every computer has its quirks. Okay, Bad Wolf, okay. If it has a backup BIOS, just copy that file over the main BIOS. Okay, maybe. Google University is where you started learning a lot of Linux desktop. Cool. Yeah, Bad Wolf, check the vendor website if you haven't. I forgot if you said if you checked it or not. That's the only thing I can think of right now. Kirby running Arch over a month. Ironed out most problems after a month. Not all the problems. Okay, I do not have that kind of patience. ASUS is pretty chintzy. Yeah, I know. Good reason why you buy motherboards that have a backup BIOS chip. Okay, makes sense to me, William. Welcome to the technical cast tonight, right? I don't know, Bad Wolf. I'm kind of stumped, but if I come across something, I'll let you know. If it had a BIOS problem, why would Wine run the game but not Windows? Interesting question, yeah. Bad Wolf, I would guess you have something missing, some kind of driver update. That's my guess, yeah. Well, I guess you might as well try and reset the CMOS, yeah. I had to replace 3 GB motherboard a few weeks ago. The 12-volt rail starts to fry. Oh no! BCD edit, delete deval, okay. Insane UFI behavior. I call the UFI the goofy. UFI, Unified Extensible Firmware Interface, I believe it's called. 6.5 years, that's pretty good for a computer, yeah. Afraid to use that command? Well, I suppose if you back up your OS to an external hard drive, if you mess something up, I don't know. Linux Mint Kirby is user-friendly. It's most of the time, I can't say it's always been, it's excellent. It's on my top 3 list of, at least for beginners or really for anybody. Number 1 right now is Ubuntu Mate Kirby. Number 2 has to be any version of Linux Mint except Debian. Number 3, I really like the latest KDE, Kubuntu KDE Neon. Probably more Kubuntu than Neon. Neon is a little bit lightweight. Linux Mint is awesome. That's what I dual boot now. Yeah. So Kirby, yeah, Linux Mint, it's just, they do a great job. They release when it's ready. Not on a specific timeline, like every 6 months to the day. If it's not ready, they don't release it. So Linux Mint is doing it the correct way. Yeah. And that's probably the main reason why Linux Mint has been so successful. In both with their, well, being around for almost 10 years, sponsorships, donations, they deserve it. I don't know, Bad Wolf. There has to be an answer somewhere, you know. KDE is less resource hungry. The latest one is awesome. It's zippy, yeah. Anybody here use Steam for Linux? Okay, how's it worked out for you? For the most part, it's been okay? Ah, that's how okay. All right, cool. Was the download maybe corrupt, Bad Wolf? Could that be an option? I don't know. You have Steam for Linux, and funny enough, I had to run another copy of Steam on Play on Linux because this one game required Windows. Ah, okay. Trying Creative Verse, okay. You love games on Steam for Linux. Cool. You doubt it. Okay, it was just a thought. I'm just brainstorming here, Bad Wolf. Yeah. Sorry, I'm not being very helpful. You don't have play on Linux or Wine. Okay. Well, if you have all the latest drivers, your system is up to date. And I'm assuming. I don't know what else to think. I don't know. Okay, Mad Wolf. Yeah, the only game I've been playing right now on Windows is Asphalt 8 Airborne. I think that's such a cool, jacked up, Need for Speed type of game. That's what I enjoy. Fallout 4, Skyrim Battlegrounds on Windows. Okay, cool. Skyrim, is that the game where the guy says, I took an arrow to the knee or something? It was an old running joke a few years ago on YouTube. I tried to do something, but I took an arrow to the knee or something silly like that. I can't remember. It is Bad Wolf. Okay, yeah. Yeah, when I first started seeing that, I'm like, what the heck is that all about? Then I did some research. Ah, okay, all right. Took an arrow to the knee. Okay. You would think it would have been funnier if the game says I took an arrow to the cannolis or something. I'm just saying. I think there is a drop down. There's a setting from the left, a menu, William, that can affect the machine BIOS. William, I think in EasyBCD. I think so. Hey yo, I tried to do that, but I took a freaking arrow to the cannolis. You see what I'm saying? Oh man. Remember one night one day I was doing a stream with Rob from Destination Linux, and I said, "You realize there's a Hannah Montana OS?" And I said, "What's next? Tony Montana OS?" Hey man, this is Tony Montana OS. See what I'm saying, man? Say hello to my little friend OS, okay? Anyway, why not a Joe Montana OS? Uh, Trump OS. That would be interesting. It has one app. Twitter. Hey. All right, guys. Anything else? This has been fun. Thanks for joining in for tonight. Bigley, yes. Yep. He's got Bigley problems. He's watching some news tonight. Leave your cannolis alone. Absolutely. The BCD is on the hard drive that handles the bootloader. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I use, William. Once I in my dual boot systems, when I decide to delete a version of Linux, I'll go into Windows first, repair or fix the bootloader, and then delete the partitions, Linux partitions. Good night, Bad Wolf. Yeah, I'll catch you next time. So yeah, ECBCD is a great little app, William. Absolutely. Anything else, guys, before I wrap this up? Gonna catch late breaking news, whatever's left of it for tonight, and call it a night. I guess that's it. Okay. Well, thanks for joining in on this live event. Always a pleasure chatting with you guys. And subscribe if you haven't. Share the channel. Support the channel if you can. And I guess I'll catch you guys next time on the next live stream. So have a good one. Take care.